Pompeii was a lively Roman town, nestled in the beautiful region of Campania in southern Italy. It sat comfortably near the sparkling Bay of Naples, a prime location that made it a desirable place to live. The town rested in the shadow of a large mountain, which the locals knew as Mount Vesuvius. For centuries, its slopes were covered in lush vineyards and fertile soil, providing the town with plentiful food and wine. No one suspected that this peaceful mountain was, in fact, a dangerous volcano. The people of Pompeii went about their daily lives, completely unaware of the cataclysm that was sleeping just above their homes, a geological time bomb waiting to explode. The history of Pompeii is a rich tapestry woven by many different cultures. It was originally founded around the 7th or 6th century BC by the Oscans, an ancient Italic people. Over time, the town came under the influence of others. The Greeks, with their advanced culture and trade networks, left a significant mark on the city's architecture and art. Later, the powerful Etruscans also held sway before Pompeii was finally absorbed into the expanding Roman Republic. This mix of influences created a unique and vibrant society. You could see it in the grand temples, the layout of the streets, and the diverse goods sold in the bustling market. Life in Pompeii before the eruption was energetic and full of activity. Its port was a hub of commerce, connecting the town to the wider Roman world. Ships arrived daily carrying goods like wine, olive oil, and a popular fish sauce called garum, which was a local specialty exported across the empire. The town's forum was the heart of public life, a large open square surrounded by important government buildings, temples, and markets. Here, politicians debated, merchants made deals, and citizens gathered to hear the latest news. The streets were lined with shops, workshops, bakeries, and taverns, where people from all walks of life mingled and socialized. The town was a microcosm of Roman society, with wealthy elites living in lavishly decorated villas and a large population of artisans, traders, and enslaved people. The houses of the rich were stunning, often featuring beautiful gardens with fountains, intricate mosaic floors, and walls covered in vibrant frescoes depicting scenes from mythology and daily life. Public entertainment was also a huge part of the culture. The citizens enjoyed plays in the town's 2 theaters and watched thrilling gladiator contests in the large amphitheater. It was a thriving, ordinary Roman town full of life, noise, and aspirations, right up until its very last day. The fateful day arrived on the 24th of August, 79 AD, though some recent archaeological evidence suggests it may have been a couple of months later, in the autumn. For the people of Pompeii, the morning probably began like any other. However, around midday, a tremendous explosion tore the top off Mount Vesuvius. A colossal column of smoke, ash, and pumice stone was thrust miles into the sky, creating a terrifying cloud that blotted out the sun and plunged the entire region into darkness. Panic and confusion must have spread through the streets as a rain of light pumice stones and hot ash began to fall on the town. At first, the falling debris was not immediately lethal, and many people had time to try and escape. Some gathered their most precious belongings and fled towards the coast, hoping to get away by sea. Others sought shelter in their homes, perhaps hiding in cellars or under sturdy furniture, hoping the nightmare would soon pass. However, the eruption was relentless. The weight of the accumulating pumice and ash caused roofs to collapse, trapping and crushing those hiding inside. The air became thick with choking dust and poisonous gases, making it incredibly difficult to breathe for those who remained in the city or were trying to flee. The most destructive phase of the eruption came in the form of pyroclastic surges. These were superheated, fast-moving clouds of gas, ash, and rock that raced down the slopes of Vesuvius at hundreds of miles per hour. The first surge reached the nearby town of Herculaneum, instantly killing everyone there. Subsequent surges rolled over Pompeii, and anyone left in the city had no chance of survival. The intense heat, estimated to be over 250 degrees Celsius, was the primary cause of death, killing the remaining inhabitants in a fraction of a second. It was a swift and horrific end to what had been a vibrant community. In less than 2 days, the town of Pompeii was completely buried. It disappeared from view under a thick blanket of volcanic material, in some places up to 6 meters deep. The ash and pumice entombed everything: the houses, the temples, the shops, and the people. The bustling streets fell silent, and the city that had thrived for centuries was wiped off the map, lost to memory. For the next 1,500 years, Pompeii lay undisturbed and perfectly preserved beneath the ground, a silent testament to the overwhelming power of nature and a tragedy that froze a moment in time. For centuries, Pompeii remained a lost city, its name and location fading into legend. While its ruins were accidentally discovered in the late 16th century during the digging of an aqueduct, proper excavation did not begin until 1748. These early efforts were more like treasure hunts than scientific archaeology. Workers, often convicts, dug tunnels haphazardly, searching for valuable statues and artifacts to adorn the palaces of the Bourbon monarchy. Little care was given to preserving the context of the finds, and many buildings were damaged in the process. It was a crude beginning to what would become one of the world's most important archaeological sites. The approach to excavating Pompeii changed dramatically in the 1860s with the arrival of archaeologist Giuseppe Fiorelli. He introduced a more methodical system, clearing the city block by block and preserving buildings as they were found. His most remarkable innovation was the creation of plaster casts of the eruption's victims. Fiorelli noticed that the bodies of the people and animals had decomposed over time, leaving hollow cavities in the hardened ash. By carefully pouring liquid plaster into these voids, he was able to create detailed and moving casts of the victims in their final moments, capturing their poses and even the expressions on their faces. These plaster casts provided an incredibly personal and human connection to the tragedy. They show us people huddled together for protection, individuals lying where they fell, and even a dog chained to a post writhing in its last moments. It is these figures that have made Pompeii so famous, transforming it from a collection of ruins into a deeply human story. They serve as a powerful reminder that this was not just a historical event, but a tragedy that affected thousands of real people. Modern archaeology continues to build on this legacy, using new technologies like ground-penetrating radar and DNA analysis to learn even more. The preservation of Pompeii is nothing short of miraculous. The thick layer of volcanic ash acted as a protective seal, shielding the city from air and moisture, which would normally cause decay. This meant that organic materials, which rarely survive elsewhere, were preserved. Archaeologists have found carbonized loaves of bread, still in their ovens, as well as wooden furniture, textiles, and even food items like nuts and fruits. These everyday objects provide an unparalleled glimpse into the daily life of the Roman world, offering details that written texts could never provide. Pompeii is not just a ruin. It is a complete city, frozen in time. Today, Pompeii is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of Italy's most popular tourist attractions, drawing millions of visitors each year. Walking through its stone-paved streets is like stepping back in time. You can wander into the villas of the wealthy, admire the colorful frescoes that still adorn the walls, and stand in the center of the vast amphitheater where gladiators once fought. You can see the bakeries with their flour mills, the fast food stalls, known as thermopolia, with their counters still intact, and the public baths where citizens relaxed and socialized. It is the closest we can come to experiencing an ancient Roman city as it truly was. The site is a vast, open-air museum that continues to reveal its secrets. Even after more than 250 years of excavation, roughly a third of the city remains buried, holding potential for future discoveries. Archaeologists are constantly at work, not only excavating new areas, but also focusing on the immense task of preserving what has already been uncovered. Exposure to the elements, pollution, and the sheer number of visitors pose a constant threat to the fragile ruins. The Great Pompeii Project, a major conservation effort, has been working to stabilize buildings, restore frescoes, and ensure the site survives for future generations to learn from and admire. One of the most fascinating aspects of Pompeii is the graffiti found scribbled on the walls. Just like today, the people of Pompeii like to write messages in public spaces. These range from declarations of love, political slogans, simple shopping lists, and crude jokes. Success as the weaver loves the innkeeper's slave girl Iris, reads one. Another boasts, Celadus the Thracian makes all the girls sigh. This graffiti gives us an unfiltered voice from the past, showing us the everyday concerns, humor, and desires of ordinary Romans. It makes the ancient inhabitants feel incredibly real and relatable, bridging the gap of 2,000 years. The legacy of Pompeii is profound. Its rediscovery in the 18th century sparked a renewed interest in classical antiquity across Europe, influencing art, architecture, and culture in a movement known as neoclassicism. For historians and archaeologists, it remains an invaluable and inexhaustible source of information about Roman life. but for the rest of us, its power lies in its poignant human story. Pompeii is a stark and enduring reminder of both the fragility of life and the remarkable resilience of history. It shows us that even after a cataclysmic disaster, the stories of ordinary people can survive to be told centuries later.